Question for you. Public sauce. Wait, what? Yes, your public sauce. What is that sauce that makes you significant? That makes you, question for you. That makes you public sauce.
And let's
Wait,
get
what?
this muted over here.
Yes. So, what is the public sauce that you operate in? See, we're talking about our secret sauce. And our secret sauce is that part of us that we have a tendency to keep a secret. See, when we say secret sauce, we don't just mean secret to the world. We also mean it's a secret to us. And how many times, how often, what is the process? What is the formula you use to find your secret sauce? Well, if it's a secret, you've got to think and do things. You've got to do what I call the proverbial success storm. And what I mean by that is you've got to think of things you've never thought of, which causes you to feel a way you've never felt before, which causes you to have to do actions maybe you've never done before to get results you've never had before. So right now, your current sauce method is called your public sauce. It's the way the world sees you right now. How many of you, drop an S in the chat, if you have some friends in your life, if you have some people in your life who know there's more inside of you than you know is inside of you? Drop an S in the chat. And here's my question. How do they see it? How come it's not a secret to them? Because you're wanting to live at your higher self. You're wanting to, listen, there's no two trees, there's no two branches on a tree. There's an old American Indian proverb that says, no two branches are ever foolish enough to fight amongst themselves for the sun. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that just simply make sense? No two branches are ever foolish enough to fight amongst themselves for the sun. So if they have an intelligence, isn't it true? Wouldn't it be true? Wouldn't it make sense that there's a part of you that wants to be greater, that wants to be better, that wants to be more? Every time you cut a piece of grass, every time if you've ever mowed a lawn, didn't you just whack off the grass and the grass just went, okay, I got to keep going. I just got to keep going. So my question to you is this. How are you going to find your secret sauce? Your secret sauce is inside of you. It isn't in another book. It's not in another seminar. It's inside of you. And until you decide that you're going to make the decision, draw the line behind you to say enough is enough, and now I'm going to start to live for my highest and best self. So what do you do with this? You have to make a decision that you're worthy of more. Tough question I'm going to ask you. Drop a W in the chat if you feel you are worthy of more. I didn't ask you if you could have more, need more, want more, could do more. Are you worthy of more? And when you start to ask these kinds of questions, when you start to ask and follow through and find that you are actually living in your worthiness, what happens? What happens? Think about this for just a second. If all of a sudden you change your public sauce, the way that you act, the way that you invite, the way that you engage with the universe around you, if all of a sudden you decide that you are going to be different, you're going to live in a state of accepting yourself, accepting your higher self, do you think there's a chance? Do you think there's a chance you might, there's a possibility that you might wind up living in a higher state? And if you start to live in a higher state, what happens when you change the sauce, the vibration, the formula with which you expose yourself to the public, the way you show up? Are they going to notice a difference? Let me ask you this. Drop a D in the chat if somebody would notice a difference if you started to live from your worthy self. Think about that for a second. If you started to live from your worthy self, do you think people might notice the difference? Do you think people might see something different in you? And what happens the second we do something different? How many of you have changed your hair color and people freaked out? Oh my gosh, I like it. They didn't notice your hair yesterday, but all of a sudden you changed your hair. It gave them something to talk about. How many of you have maybe created some income that came in? Maybe you won $1,000 lottery. Maybe you got a windfall from somebody who passed. You got an inheritance. Maybe somebody gifted you something. They gifted you a car. They took you to dinner. Maybe you got an award at work. See, the littlest things that change in our life, in our sauce, the recipe we call life, when we change that sauce, sometimes people get a little upset. They get a little frustrated. They get a little jealous. So then how do we fix that? Well, when we understand what we're looking for, we can't just go find the one ingredient that is secret sauce. There's multiple versions. There's multiple ingredients that are necessary to create your ultimate secret sauce, where you operate from freedom, where you operate from faith, where you operate in joy, where you operate in peace. How many of you would like to have more peace in your life? You'll still be busting your tail and doing the work and working hard, but how many of you would love to drop a P in the chat if you would like to have more peace in your life? See, the peace is going to show up. The peace is going to arrive when you live from your secret sauce. Well, how is that going to happen, Sean? Here's how it's going to happen. The way peace shows up is when you start to live in your secret sauce, when you start to live in this place that you call your home, your highest self, you're no longer worried about addiction to approval. You're no longer concerned about your mental toughness because you're so focused on your DMP, your definite major purpose. You have a clarity and a commitment that's going to allow you to stay tuned in, turned on, fired up, and plugged in. So you will have an ego, but it's energy going onward, Godward, and upward, not edging goodness out. Sometimes our ego keeps us from doing the things we know we need to do so that we can have the things we wish we could have. So I invite you to the Secret Sauce Challenge. The Secret Sauce Challenge is going to have starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, going till Friday. They're full days, they're long days. Thursday night is going to actually have some laser coaching where I'll do one-on-one, pick somebody from the community and sit down with them and do a help seat live in front of you to help them, to show them how they can literally go make an extra 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 grand before the end of the year. You've got to have a formula that you could do that in. The only thing that's keeping you from using the formula, how many of you have a formula, a business model, that if you were able to tweak, if you were able to adjust, if you were able to unlock some of the code of the formula, the business formula that you have, the business format that you have, how many of you believe that if you learned it properly, you could go make an extra 30K between now and the end of the year? Drop 30K in the chat. If you believe that you could go, if your formula, if your business model gives you the ability to make an extra 30K, 40K, drop 30K, 40K. Drop how much you believe it's possible that between now and the end of the year, if you unlocked the code to your programming, how much extra could you add to your income? That's what the secret sauce is going to teach you. I've done it thousands of times. 30 grand isn't that big of a deal. It really isn't. The challenge is the belief you have around the $30,000. Let me ask you, if the formula, if the addition and the math and the formula added up correctly, whatever your business formula is, would it be okay? Would it be okay? Would your compensation plan be okay with paying you an extra 30K? Or would it argue and fight and struggle and get ticked off and mad at you? Does your compensation plan, listen carefully, this one might make you a little sideways. Does your compensation plan, whether traditional work or network marketing, listen carefully, drop a 1 in the chat if your compensation plan is jealous of you. Drop a 2 in the chat if your compensation plan would be disappointed in you. I don't see 1s, I don't see 2s. Drop a 3 in the chat if all of a sudden your compensation plan would be jealous of you. So your compensation plan isn't jealous of you. Your compensation plan didn't say that that you couldn't have more. Your compensation plan doesn't say that you're a loser. You know who says that? You do, because you're operating from your public sauce. You're operating from this belief system that you have to show up in a certain way. If you have curves on your body, you got to dress a certain way. If you have long hair, you have to dress a certain way. If you've got tattoos, you've got to dress a certain way. If you've got Latin blood, you've got to dress a certain way. If you got Irish blood, you got to dress a certain way. If you're in a high-end business, you got to dress a certain way. If you're at the beach, you got to dress a certain way. See, that's addiction to approval. What's keeping you from your highest and next best calling is your addiction to approval. And if you just said, I'm not addicted to approval, you're addicted to approval, because my saying it triggered a response in you that said, I'm not addicted. You're addicted. Science and research and just studies after studies after studies, we all have it. Here's the other thing that you have that's keeping you from accessing the 30K inside of your compensation plan is your delusional thinking. I can't do it. I don't have a big enough team. I don't have this. I don't have that. Well, guess what? Law of attraction says, congratulations, what you think about and think about, you bring about. So all of these myths are going to be shattered in the Secret Sauce Challenge. You can go to SeanGMurphy.com/secret challenge and get signed up. It's no fee. There's no charge for this. Now, if you want the recordings and the audios and all of the rest of the stuff and the VIP sessions and the breakfast sessions and the evening sessions and the laser coaching sessions and the 3 weeks of follow-up, you may want to upgrade to the $97 to the VIP package. My question for you is, if there's money waiting for you inside of your compensation plan, whether it's a traditional employee, whether there's bonuses, whether you're in network marketing, listen, if you're in sales, you have access to 30K, period, end of story. I don't care what business you're in, insurance, car sales, you name it, telecom, you name it. If you're in sales, if you would say that you are a salesperson, you have access to 30K. The only thing holding you back is your public sauce. You need to switch from your public sauce, the way you're currently showing up in your universe, to accessing and showing up through your secret sauce. And once you do that, Napoleon Hill says, you'll wonder where it was during all the lean times. One of the key major factors is that you have your definite major purpose. I can promise you, 99% of the people who are on this call right now do not have their definite major purpose in place. A handful of you might, one or two of you might, but the rest, you've heard about it, but you haven't done the work. You want the stuff you want to work on, but you're not doing the work. This is delusional thinking. This is mental toughness. This isn't the ability to make a decision long after the emotion that made you make the decision has gone away. And that's because you go from operating in your secret sauce when you have these thoughts, oh, I could do this, I believe this, I could do this, I could have more, I could do more, is that you fade in back into your habitual actions called your public sauce, the way you normally do things. So I invite you to the challenge, SeanGMurphy.com/secret challenge. Tonight is VIP reception. Tomorrow starts 9 a.m. And if you know that you're going to be there all the time, don't worry about the VIP. You'll be able to take good notes. We'll have some breakout sessions inside of the virtual live event. 9 a.m. it starts. Tomorrow, the VIP tonight is at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. scheduled. Yes, the schedule for the event will be coming out in email today. And the reason that I'm a little hesitant to put any schedule out, and this is why any event will delay the event schedule with any details in it, is so that people can't decide when they're going to show up. Yeah, so the start time is 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. each morning. Might be 10 a.m. on Thursday. I haven't figured that out yet, but 9 a.m. Central Time, and then it goes till Question marks. They're not going to go till midnight. Thursday might be the latest day, might go till 8 or 9 o'clock. But most days will probably end 5 o'clock, thereabouts. Because you have a life, you've got things you've got to do. There'll be breaks throughout the day. There'll be breakout sessions. The breakout sessions will be pretty cool. So there you go. Decide what your public sauce is. Congratulations, where you're at, it's your thoughts. Everything that you've done up to this moment, you've done from your public sauce. The way that your formula called your habitual actions. It's your personality is making up your personal reality. It's time to change your personal reality. We got to change the personality. And that's what the Secret Sauce Challenge is going to do. So join me. I've got some surprises for you inside of the challenge. And I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. SeanGMurphy.com/secret challenge to get signed up. And you'll learn more about the VIP once you get there. All right, everybody. I love you tons. I appreciate you, Instagram. Have an amazing day. Stephanie, good to see you. I'll see you all where? At the next event. Bye for now. And YouTube, appreciate you. Have a great day. I appreciate you. Love you tons. Inside below this in the description will be more of the information. And I'll see you where? I'll see you.